about psychologically healthy workplaces, it's about understanding that mental illness is going to be there. 1 out of 3 people is going to experience a mental illness at some point in their lifetime. And when we talk about depression, 1 out of 10 people is going to experience depression at some point in their lifetime. So these things are going to manifest themselves in the workplace. And the workplace is probably the best opportunity to support people when they're dealing with these sort of mental health issues. One of the things that happens, though, is that people start to feel ostracized. They feel like there's this huge stigma around having a mental illness, like nobody else has it. If somebody has a cold, how are you doing? We ask them, we're involved. Or if somebody is even dealing with cancer, well, how are your treatments going? Is there anything that we can do to help you? But if somebody's dealing with depression, we pull back. We don't want to ask them. If I ask you how you're doing, is that going to open the floodgates? Is something going to happen? Am I going to cause you to commit suicide? And so there's all of these myths that play into mental illness. People would rather, in one study I read, said that they would rather have cancer than depression. And to me, that's really sad, because we can support people who have depression. We can help people who are dealing with depression. They may only have it once in their entire lifetime. Some people may have it continuously. But we know stress plays a role, and we know that, if I was to experience depression, it may be very different than from somebody else who experiences depression. So we can't paint everything with the same paintbrush. But what we can do is we can support people. We can understand that it's not by choice. People don't experience depression because they have nothing better to do, or they're feeling sorry for themselves. There's strategies that they can put into place. There's strategies that the workplace can put into place. They may need to go see a doctor. They may need a support group. They may need to learn how to deal with stress. But we need to understand that there's so many things that we can do with it. And that lack of education leads people to being fearful. They're fearful even to tell their boss at work or their colleague, because, hey, if I tell you that I'm dealing with depression, or if I have this severe anxiety, maybe now my choices, my judgment is going to come to question. If there's layoffs, well, maybe I'm going to be the first one being laid off because my medications cost more, or maybe it's a risk to keep me around. What if I infect the rest of the team? And so there's all kinds of things that happen. And I think when we talk about psychologically healthy workplaces, those are the workplaces where it's okay to talk about mental illness. They're doing education. They're bringing people in to get rid of those myths. They're talking to the teams, and they're talking to the leadership. What do you do if you think somebody's at risk right now? How can we support them? How can we tailor the job so that maybe it's not quite so stressful? Maybe we can help pick up the slack for a little bit, so that'll allow them to decompress, so that they can then maybe take care of all of the issues that are going on. There are also the workplaces that have in place EAP programs, employee assistant programs, or they have HR departments that have connections to the community that can support them, or they have connections to psychiatrists or psychotherapists, or people that can help, so they can talk it out. Psychologically healthy workplaces not only look for what may be causing that stress, that may be causing some of that pressure, but they also look for ways to alleviate that, and they look for ways to make it okay for people to find the strategies and be healthy and come back to the workplace without that shame and stigma associated with it.